Welcome guys for another video. This is basically the second video for our series SQL for beginners. And today guys, I'm gonna give a general review of what we have covered in the previous video. And also we will talk today about character functions and how you can manipulate strings, because we're talking about here character functions. That means functions that deals with strings meaning that words or sentences. Then we're gonna talk about each function separately. Then we're gonna talk about dual table. We're gonna talk about number functions, and also related to this topic we have also date functions, but I guess date functions will be covered in another video, so forget about date functions for now. So this is our content for this video. Basically what I'm gonna do as a general review here, that I want to revise the syntax of the select command, right? Because as we said in the previous video, I will leave you basically the card for the other video will appear on the screen right now, and also I will leave a link in the description for lecture 1. So we talked about DML commands, and we talked about select command, which is used to retrieve or to select and display data from the database. And we said that the general syntax for the select statement here, that we're gonna use select with a specific attribute name. So here we have attribute name, and sometimes we have multiple attribute names. Then from a specific table, so you have to have here a table name. If your selection needs to be more specific, that means we have a where clause, and in the where clause we should have a condition. And we said that in the condition we can use arithmetic operations, logical or arithmetic operators, logical operators, and also we talked about other operators that can be used in the where clause. And also we talked about order by. So here in the order by statement, you have to if you want to use order by, that means you are ordering the display, or you are ordering the output to be based on a specific attribute. So here we have another attribute name. So basically you are ordering the output based on the value of a specific attribute, and this kind of order can be either in ascending order or can be in descending order, right? And we talked about this in details in lecture 1. So this is basically what I want you to just keep in mind, because we're gonna use select a lot in this lecture. So now what we're gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about character functions, all right? And the first functions that we're gonna talk about in this category is upper function and lower function, and also init cap, all right? So whenever you have a function, for example, if I want to use the upper function, so I will use the upper, and then I will have brackets. Every function that you need to use, you have the name of the function right here, name of the function. Then you have what? A bracket, and inside the bracket you have to apply this function to a specific attribute. So here you have another attribute name, and we will see this in details. So here we are using again live SQL service, and also I will leave a link for this platform in the description. So here we talked about the databases that we have in this platform, and last time we used academic database where we have all these tables, and also we used the human resource table where we have also other tables, and we used employees table. So in the employees table, we have different columns or different attributes here for the employees. And basically, we're gonna talk about an attribute that it's a string. So anytime you see the data type of the attribute is a varchar2, that means it's a string, right? So let's talk about the name here. So if I select here the first name from the HR database going to employees table and click run, I can see here all the names of the employees that I have in the database, right? Let's see if I want to display all these names in uppercase, so let's say, or in uppercase letters. So I can use the upper function, and here I will type first name. So this is the attribute that I want the upper function to be applied to. So here if I click run, I can see here that I have the normal first name as in this column, and then I will have in the other column the first name with applying the upper function to it. So I can see that all the names right here are selected, or they are displayed in upper case letters, right? Same thing if I want to use lower function and give here the first name again, and if I click run, now I have another display for the name with lowercase letters. And if I want to use init cap, so now we can understand that upper here is used to convert the string to uppercase, and we can understand that lower right here is used to convert the string to lowercase. All right, and init cap, which is basically initial capitalization, which is only converts the first letter to uppercase, right? Very simple. So here, if I want to apply init cap, so you have to be careful with the spelling for the functions, all right? So if I want to apply initial capitalization for the first name, so you can see here with init cap, only the first letter right here is converted to uppercase. So these are the basic functions of how to manipulate a string, right? So moving on, we will talk about also concatenation, okay? In the concatenation, first of all, I will talk about how to use the concatenation symbol and also how to use alias, right? So let's say right here that I want to display first name and I want to display salary. And let's say I want to display the salary multiplied by 3. So if I run, I can have here the name of the employee, their salary, and what will be their salary if I multiply it by 3. This is the salary that they will get if it's multiplied by 3. So now, if I want to use an alias, what is the alias? The alias is basically a name for the column, okay? When you want to specify a name for the column, okay? So let me change, for example, this column right here. I don't want it to be salary times 3. I want to change its name to, let's say, dream salary, okay? So here, or let's say promotion salary, something like that. So in order to give an alias for the specific column, which is right here, salary multiplied 3, you can have a double quotes and you can give your alias, which is right here, dream salary, okay? If I click run, you can see that the name of the column right here is changed, okay? So now, if I want to add to this code, and with the first name, I want to display the last name, okay? So you can see here, we have the first name of the employee, the last name of the employee, their salary, and their dream salary, okay? But what I want to do, I don't want the first name and the last name to be on 2 separate columns, okay? I want the full name, I want the first name and the last name to be on the same column. So I need these 2 columns right here. I want to merge these 2 columns right here in one column, and I want to call it full name, okay? So in order to do the concatenation to merge 2 columns into one column, first of all, I will use the concatenation symbol, right? So here, I want to concatenate the first name with the last name, okay? So if I want to concatenate the first name with the last name in this manner, if I click run, now the first name and the last name are merged into one column, but there is a problem here. You can see that the first name and the last name are merged together as well. There's no space, okay? It doesn't make any sense. So here, what I can do, I can concatenate the first name to a space. Space is a character, so it's supposed to be in single quotes or double quotes, it doesn't matter. I want to concatenate the first name to a space, and then I want to concatenate the space to a last name, okay? So you have to understand that whenever you concatenate something, you have to use this symbol right here. So basically you're concatenating first name to a space, then you're concatenating the space to a last name. So the result right here will be having first name with a space, then the last name. So now everything is displayed correctly. But here we have a problem that the column name, look at the column name. The column name doesn't make any sense, right? So in order to make the column name looks better, I can add also an alias at the end right here by having double quotes. And also I can call the column right here full name, right? So if I click run, now I can see that we have appropriate names for the columns, and also we have appropriate display for the data, right? So now this is how you use the concatenation symbol. In this case, when you try to concatenate the first name and the last name, it's better to do it this way, because if I want to use the concat function, because there is another way to do concatenation, if I want to use the concat function, so let's say here concat function. In the concat function, we have two parameters, okay? Two parameters separated by a comma, okay? This is the first parameter, this is the second parameter, which are the values or the attributes that you want to merge together. And as we explained, we want to merge the first name with the last name, right? We want to merge the first name with the last name. So if I want to do it this way and run it right here, you can see that we have the problem of the space, okay? Let me try something crazy here. I don't know if this will work, but if I want to concatenate a space in another parameter separately and click run, is that gonna work? It says what? Invalid number of arguments, because the concat function, it's only allowed to have two parameters, okay? All right, like so. So when I click run, now I can have a normal display, but there is a problem here where the first name and the last name are merged together, and I don't want that. So in this example, using the concatenation function is not very practical. It's better to use the other way around, which is having the normal concatenation symbol with concatenating the first name to a space, then concatenating the space to a last name, and in this way we can have a proper display. But what I want to show here, that you can use the concat function, as we said, that here you have also two parameters. So here you have an attribute name, and also you can give another attribute name for the second parameter in order to merge the data together. All right, so that's why I need to explain the alias, and also I need to explain the normal concatenation, right? I hope that makes sense. Moving on, we have what? Substr, which is substring. So it's a substring, which is basically display a specific portion of the string. Okay, and let me give an example right here. So if I want to let's go back to our first display, which is only displaying first name. If I want to, let's say for some reason I want to display only the last three letters, okay, the last three letters. So if I want to use substr, the first thing we need to understand about the substr function, that it has three parameters, okay? The first parameter is the attribute name that I'm gonna use, and here basically I want to use the first name data, right? Then the second parameter is where you want your portion, or the portion of the string to start from. So here, if I want to take only only 3 letters from here, starting from the third position, so from here the substring will start, and I want it to end right here. So it will start from the third letter, and it will take 3 other letters. All right, it will take 3 other letters. So I can say that the first name, or I can say that the substr will start working from the third letter. So I will give here the position of the third letter as 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And I wanted to take from this position, from the third position, I wanted to take 3 letters. So I give another 3 in the third parameter. Okay, so if I click run, I can see here that we took a portion of the string, third letter, then we take 3 letters after that position, and then here third letter, and we take 3 letters after that position. That's why the R is not counted. If I want to, let's say, start from the third position until the end of the string, I don't need to specify how many letters I need, because here I specified how many letters I need after the cut. So here we cut at the third position, and I want what? 3 letters after cutting. If I don't specify this, I'll leave it just 2 parameters, first name and start cutting from the third letter. And if I click run, now, as you can see, the display is changed. So from the third letter to the end of the string, then here the third letter from the end of the string. That's why now the R is counted. All right. And here, for example, take the third letter and then cut the rest. Take the third letter, cut the rest. And now you can see here the result as it's explained. So in substr, or in a substring, you can give the position where the portion will start from, the portion of the string will start from, and the third parameter here is optional. It's either you give the number of letters that you want to take, for example 3. If I want to give 3, now all the display will be 3. Here we have only T because we have only 3 letters. We start from T and there is no letters afterwards. That's why we have only T displayed, because there is no continuation of the string. It's either you specify how many letters you need, or you keep it like that, so it will take the remaining of the string. Right? I hope that made sense. Now, for MVL or MVL2, basically it's used to replace the null value. So what do I mean by this? Used to replace the null value. If I check, let's select all from employees, so we can have here all the information. We understand that, for example, we have something like a commission PCT. Here, when you see the dash, that it is null, it's empty, okay? That means these employees right here, they don't take commissions. And then, until we go all the way down, we have some employees who takes commissions, right? So we have null values and we have proper values, right? So here, I can display the first name, and I can display the commission PCT to make it look better. Okay, yeah, so here we have only the name of the employees and the commission PCT. Some employees take commissions, which are right here, and the others, they don't take commission. I don't want the display to be like that. Let's say if the employee doesn't take any commission, I want to display 0 instead of displaying a dash, which means nothing. I can have here an MVL function, okay? I can have here the MVL function, and then I can specify in the second parameter the value that will be displayed instead of the null value. So here the alternative value will be 0. So now if the employee that doesn't take any commission, we will display what? 0. Otherwise, we will display the normal value of the commission that they take. So here, if I click run, it says here invalid statement for some reason. Let me run again. Yeah, okay, so when I run it again, I see that now that using the MVL function, I can display the alternative value for the null value. As you can see here, used to replace the null value with another value you want. Here, the other value that I want to be 0. So here I can clearly understand that these employees right here, they don't take any commission, and the others, they are taking a commission, okay? We have two functions right here that do the same thing, MVL and MVL2, but there is differences, right? If I want to use MVL2, okay, now I need to specify a value where the employee takes commission. So if the employee takes commission, let's say I want to display 1. And if the employee doesn't take any commission, I want to display 0. Okay, something like that. So now when I run, I can see that these employees, they don't take any commission. And then the employees who takes commission, I can see here as 1. So it works as a Boolean values, yes or no, 0 or 1. Okay, so the difference here that MVL2, if the employee takes commission, you have to give a value here. So you are not going to display the actual value of the commission, okay? And also you can do something else, that if the employees are taking commission, you display yes. And if the employees, they don't take commission, you display no. So the other difference between MVL and MVL2 is that MVL2 takes string values as well. So here, if I click run, I can see that these employees, they don't take any commissions. And then we have other employees, they take commissions, okay? You cannot have a string value in normal MVL. So if I change this here to MVL, so basically, if the employee doesn't take any commission, I want to display no. If I click run, it will tell me that you have what? An invalid number, because MVL only accepts numbers. That's why I started the example by giving the value 0, because with the value 0, I can now list the employees who doesn't have a commission as a 0 value, okay? I hope that makes sense. So we have two differences. So here, let's say MVL versus MVL2. So here we can say that MVL only accepts number values as alternatives for the null value. Okay, that's the first difference. Okay, and also we can say that MVL2 can accept even character or string values, even string values, okay? And also in MVL2, you need to give an alternative value for the existing value, which means, as we saw in MVL2, we have to give a value even if the employee takes commission. So here I have a yes value for the existing values, because we know that these employees, they take commission, but I don't want to display their commission values. I want to display this one. So here in MVL2, you have to give two values, one for the existing value and the other value here, which is no, for the null value, right? I hope that made sense. All right, so now these are the character functions basically that I want to talk about that will give you a clear insight about how to manipulate character or string values in the database. Then we will talk here about what dual table. Dual table, it's a predefined table that it is already embedded in the SQL server or in the Oracle server, and it gives you information about, or it gives you an insight about the system data, about the data of your own system. So if I want to select something from the dual table, we have something called sysdate in the dual table, which is basically system date. So if I click run, it will tell me that the sysdate or the system date is 12 July 2020, 12 July 2023. So here it gives me the date in my system, right? And also you can use display or select current date in the calendar. So current date. So if I want to display a current date, it will give me the same value because today is where I'm recording is 12th of July, right? Also, it has another thing which is current time stamp. In the current timestamp here, if you can see, you have the date, you have the hour, the minute, the second, the millisecond, the time, if it's AM or PM, and also we have the time zone. This time zone is basically the server time, by the way, because here if you see the time here, I have it is 1 PM, but here it says it's 3 AM. Okay, it's not 1 PM, it's a 3 AM because this is the server time, US specific. All right, so you have to understand that it gives you information about your system and information about the server. Okay, and why I want to use dual table, because I want to use number functions here. Number functions, we have round, we have trunc, we have mod. So in round, basically it's a math function, right? So round right here, it's basically if you have a number like 3.66, right? The round here, it will take the number after the decimal point, which is right here 6. Basically 6 is greater than 5, so it will round the number to be 3.7, right? On the other hand, and also as another example, if we have 3.4, it's not gonna round it, right? It will return what? It will return 3. And sometimes it return the same number, 3.4, okay? In truncate, this one, in trunc, if you have 3.66, it will truncate the value anyways, all right? It will truncate the value anyways, and it will display 3, okay? It doesn't matter, even if you have 3.9, it will display it as 3. Also, if you have 3.4, which is 4 is less than 5, but again, it will truncate it to 3 anyhow, okay? So this is basically the truncate function. So now let's try to do this. So here we have, let's say, round. And if I want to use any given number, so let's say we have this number, dot something like that. Let me make it like this, right? And then let's say the difference here, let me copy the same thing and change from 45 to 55. And also I will have another round where you have here let's say 75, and let's see what is the difference between these two. If I click run, now what happens? 45.3, as you can see, 0.3, so it will be it will be not rounded, so it will give me only 54. Here 55.32, it will give me only 55 because again it's 0.3. And here it's 54.7. We know that 7 is greater than 5, so it will give what? It will give me right here 55. It will round this to 55, right? There is something else that we need to understand about round, that round can have a second parameter where you can have the position of the exact number. So round, it works in this way. So if I have the number right here, which is 50, for the sake of example, right? Let me have some spaces because I have to clarify something here. In the second parameter right here, you have to give the index of the number that you want to round exactly. As a number like this, how the index will work, you have to understand the position of the decimal point. The index for the numbers that are on the right side of the decimal point, their index starts from 0. So 3, it will be index 0, 2, it will be index 1, index 2, 3, 4. Okay? This is how the index starts after the decimal point. And before the decimal point, it will be what? It will be -1. And here it will be -2. Okay? So here we have -1 for 4. And we have what? -2 for 5. So if I want to round this number right here, 6. So 6, it's available in index 2. So I can have here what? 2. Okay? Let's see the differences. If I want to use here, let's say -1. And here, let's say I want to use 4. Okay? So now, based on the explanation that I gave right here, as we can see, this is the decimal point. We know now that index 0, 1, 2. So I want to round the 6. Here, I'm talking about -1, so I will talk about this 5. So here at index 4, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is now I'm talking about 4. And now we will see how the round will work when I run. And it will give me different values right here. Here, I want to round the 6, right? Because it's in the second index, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so I want to round the 6. 6 is greater than 5, so it will return what? It will round this number to 33 instead of 32. Okay? Here it will give me 60. Why? Because I want to round the number that it's available in index -1, which is right here, is 5. So that will give me what? 5 is basically equal to 5. Any number that is equal to 5 or greater, it will be rounded. So here it will give me 60. Instead of 55, it will be 60. And in this round right here, I want to round what? The 4. This is the number that is available in index 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will round this number. 4 is less than 5, so it will return, it will not round anything, and it will return the number as it is without the 4. Okay? Now, if I want to do this to truncate, if I want to do the same thing using the truncate function, so let's say here trunc, and here we have trunc, all right? And then we click run. What is the difference is here? That no round, nothing is being rounded. Either if it's equal or greater to 5, or if it's less than 5, nothing will be rounded. Okay? Because it's what? It's truncate. It will truncate the number anyways. Here, we're talking about what? 6. 6 it is greater than 5, but it's not gonna be, but it's gonna be truncated. So it will return what? Only 54.32. Here in the second example, we are trying to truncate the 5. So here it will be only, it will return 50. In the other truncate, we're trying to truncate the 4. So it will be truncated and the remaining number will be returned, right? I hope that makes sense. The next function right here is mod. Mod is basically when you say something like 3 to the power, or no, mod, it's modulus. So it's like you are saying 6 modulus 2. 6 modulus 2 means that if 6 is divisible by 2, right? And we know that 6 is divisible by 2, so it will return what? It will return 0. How can I do this using the function? I can use mod right here. Mod has what? Has 2 parameters, right? The number that you want to check, which is here in the example, I want to check 6. So here I will have 6. And I want to check if it is divisible by 2, okay? And what is the expected output to be? 0, right? As you can see right here, 0. So here you can say that 6 can be divided by 2. Here, someone will ask me a question that why we are using the dual table in this kind of examples, like even in the previous examples when we have like the truncate and the round. You can use dual table if you are using your code with values that they are not available in the database, okay? If you are using numbers or dates or something like that, you can use dual because I know that these values are not available in any databases or in any tables I have here. It's a value that I put it myself from the keyboard, right? So that's why I'm using dual, and that's why one of the functionalities of dual table that it's embedded in the Oracle server, because it will give you the ability to manipulate data that it will be entered from the keyboard, and this data is not available in any of the databases, right? All right, so now I think we understand the usage of dual table, which is basically it gives you information about your system and also gives you information about the server. And also it will allow you to manipulate data that it's not available in the database or it's not available in any table. All right. Now, so a quick revision of what we talked about today. We gave a general review about the syntax of the select statement. Also, we talked about character functions, lower, upper, init cap. We talked about concatenation, substring, MVL, and MVL2. Also, we talked about dual table, which I just mentioned right now, and number functions, round, truncate, and mode, right? So the previous lecture was like around an hour, so I didn't want to give another long lecture. This is like very quick lecture talking about like character function, number function, etc. And in the next lecture, we will talk about date functions and how to manipulate date information. When you have a date in the database, how you can manipulate it and how you can display it in multiple forms. All right. So please, if you find this video useful, please hit the thumbs up, give us a like, and also subscribe to the channel and wait for other videos and courses to be uploaded. I hope that you enjoyed and found it useful, and I will see you next time. Have a good day.